FBI!
Criminal Minds is a show about the tip-top of all American policing, the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit. The BAU is a team of special agents who hunt down unknown subjects, or unsubs, who are particularly violent and heinous criminals. To do this, police violence and incarceration are the tools at their disposal. The show feels like the embodiment of that common talking point in conversations about police and prison abolition. What about the rapists and murderers? The series would have you believe that law enforcement is hugely effective in these areas, protecting white suburban families from racialized, mad, queer others. For a show that had a 15-year-long run from 2005 to 2020, Criminal Minds is impressively consistent with its stance on crime and punishment, namely that the U.S. police and carceral state is good and feminist, actually. Carceral feminism reassures women that the system works for them. The problem of sexual violence especially, which, to its credit, the show takes very seriously, could be solved if survivors reported more and cooperated with the police.
What can the police do if when a crime is committed, no one comes forward?
Sentences should be harsher to keep women safe.
The men I hunt down are cowards. For the most part, they target the weakest members of society, women and children. There is nothing I'd rather do more than put the bastards away.
I got him locked away for life. He's done.
Done? Done ain't good enough.
40-year sentence sounds pretty good until the 40 years are up.
Criminal Minds feeds us the fantasy that the U.S. state is the line of defense for women and children at home and abroad. Critics of carceral feminism point out that sexual violence has a near non-existent conviction rate.
Terry was crazy violent, and nobody'd do a single thing about it.
He was issued a restraining order.
Oh, yeah, used to how restrained he was.
He will never see the light of day. Ever. Can you guarantee that?
You know how many rapists I saw walk during my sex crime days?
And sexual violence is state violence.
Actually, law enforcement officials are just as probable statistically to commit a crime as anyone else.
Most rapes here are not even reported. And the rapists are often people who have power over them, sometimes family, sometimes even law enforcement.
Disproportionately affecting and killing Black women, Indigenous women, and women of color. Women of color feminism advocates abolition and transformative justice models.
Mourning the lives that might have been won't bring them back. And neither will keeping Jesse Wilson behind bars.
Too often, feminism is used to funnel more funding into policing, prisons, militarism, border enforcement, and other state violence that harm the most vulnerable women.
Getting locked up's better than disappearing with one of them.
Criminal Minds firmly supports not only the state's monopoly on legitimate violence, but also on any kind of legitimate problem solving at all. Activists are, at best, in the way of the real work.
What happened?
My men went to make arrests. People started resisting. I called for reinforcements.
Politicians, community leaders, they do what they do. You and me, we do what we do. We're the foot soldiers in these streets getting the job done. Foot soldiers. Right. Only ones who ever really get results, you know what I'm saying?
Black kids are getting killed and the police are doing nothing to stop it. When will these racists be confronted?
Apparently, in response to Reverend Williams' muckraking, a black kid was beaten on the streets of Groton this afternoon.
What are the racial demographics of Groton?
Population, 42,000, 8% black.
I'd say the mayor has reason to be worried. If it doesn't stop soon, it could flare up into a full-scale race riot.
Diverting funds to community self-protection would be a mistake.
Think community vigilance will be enough?
If it were, we'd be out of a job.
As would community responders to mental health crises, because, according to Criminal Minds, mentally ill people are a violent and sexually deviant threat to women and to normal Americans that require violent response. We need prisons.
I was taking him to Dallas to speak at a conference as an example of the progress being made to relieve severe psychosis.
Mental health institutionalization is not enough.
You gotta change your name to Lucky. Think whatever God you got.
You're out of here.
We'll cross the border into Canada where you can get treatment.
I tried that. It didn't work.
This is a mental health issue, not a criminal case. He's a model patient who hasn't missed a dose of his voluntary regimen for years.
He's gonna stop taking his meds. They always do. The FBI strenuously objects to letting him out ever.
The local police departments that the BAU collaborates with vary in their levels of competence, from attuned with their communities to useless.
But she wanted to press charges.
I told her it was a waste of time. I knew one of the accused. He was a good kid. He didn't need the stink of that accusation.
So you protected a rapist?
Too brutal and needing the better trained BAU to de-escalate their actions.
He won't let her go.
He could be armed. Just calm down.
Hey, what the hell are we waiting for?
Do not shoot. I want you to calm down, put your weapons down so we can move in. Do it! Do it!
There's even a wholly corrupt police department engaged in trafficking that the BAU has to take down.
So the whole force knows? Enough of them.
However, these useless or dangerous cops, soldiers and correctional officers, are just bad apples. And the BAU is here to course correct.
Congratulations. You just sent Agent Prentice to the emergency room. Hopefully, she pulls through. You only take the shot if you are absolutely sure. And trust me, you are rarely absolutely sure.
With the adrenaline, even the best can miss easy shots from time to time.
And the hail of bullets is never a good thing.
The point is to control the situation, and a shootout is one of the most uncontrollable situations there are.
Maybe some police need reform on an individual or departmental basis, but the institution is necessary and in fact needs more funding.
Now, have the police increased their patrols in the Rivertown district?
I wish they could, but the city's reeling from budget cuts.
You may have me in here, but there's a whole lot more me out there, boy.
Criminal Minds says not all cops, because the show is about the amazing, highly trained police who police the police. But no one polices the police who police the police. The BAU cannot itself stand oversight. The internal investigations in the show are always framed as overly political shams that hinder the important policing work the BAU has to do.
If you want to punish me for taking a risk, then I encourage you to do that. But do not put the rest of my team on trial for something that I suggested.
Calm down, Agent.
This is calm, and it's doctor.
Ambitious women, particularly, are a big no-no.
Excuse me.
She's worse in Spanish.
And police they do. On-screen police brutality appears in many episodes. They use force against journalists.
I'm Special Agent Jennifer Giroux with the FBI. We need you to identify your source.
No way, I know my rights. Hey, shoot this, Nick, shoot this. Get this all on tape.
You should know the FBI considers these shootings an act of terrorism. Under the Patriot Act, we can detain you as long as we need to.
All I know is his cell number.
They use excessive force against unsubs.
Morgan, that's enough. That's enough. My wrist! My wrist!
Oh, what, am I hurting you?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Shut up.
Against criminals to get information.
Stay there! Let him do something! Stay there! You can't erase me!
Oh, what the hell, man?
Is this what you did to her?
Bad move, Doc. Stop. Stop. You don't attack me, and I don't have probable cause to search your place. And we both know what I'm gonna find. Now, don't.
You're breaking my arm!
Yeah. Well,
She didn't say much.
Put her in solitary. See how long she lasts.
And against suspects who end up being the wrong guy.
Weed, it's just weed. It's just weed.
They extrajudicially execute unsubs in dubious circumstances.
okay. You got me. I surrender. I surrender.
Like, she just has a scalpel. Couldn't you incapacitate her or at least shoot non-lethally? But I digress. They cover up for each other and teach younger agents not to question it.
You rubber-stamped the unjustified shooting by Agent Rossi of the man who killed Jason Gideon, giving him a pass for the same crime you expelled Agent Greenaway for 10 years ago.
Each of those instances was a judgment call. And it's a waste of our time for me to justify each one, but I can.
Hey, how did Elle get Shire to give us Trish's location?
I imagine she found some creative way to persuade him.
What do you think?
You know, maybe you just don't need to ask so many questions.
They reassure each other that they're in the right.
I saw the arrest. He was, busted up, broken nose and everything.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when they trip over their feet, right?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that happen before.
She threw a flashbang grenade into a car. She's lucky the 3 people inside didn't die. Is anybody else bothered by that?
Well, 3 bad guys.
Illegal as it is, I think Prentice knows she has to be as ruthless as Doyle.
Spence! Spence, she is pregnant! Spence, she's pregnant! Stop it!
Only a few offenses are framed as reprehensible, but not fireable, and certainly not criminal. Anarchist Garcia has a point.
Because the whole thing is corrupt, and nothing is gonna make me happier than to watch the whole stupid thing burn to the ground. The government, the police, the feds, every shred of it. Burn, burn, burn.
Violent enforcement of the line between valued and devalued, human and non-human, is the job.
I mean, yeah, monsters are real, but they are most definitely human.
And you most definitely have a loose definition for human, because monsters are monsters in my book.
Well, it's just a TV show, right? More like the #1 streamed show in 2021, in the midst of the largest movement against racialized state violence in history. Criminal Minds is more popular than ever, legitimizing law enforcement behind a facade of feminism.